Recently I was fortunate enough to go to Highlands Motorsport Park down in Cromwell in Otago and have a go on their Ferrari hot laps or supercar fast dash, I think they call it, which is where one of their trained drivers basically takes you for a blast around their world-class track in a Ferrari 488, which is a super impressive, incredible piece of engineering basically. I'll tell you now, if you're into cars, if you get the opportunity to do it, you should 100% give it a go. Even if you don't like cars, just the thrill of just how powerful and composed this car is pretty impressive. Now, what's a Ferrari got to do with marketing? Well, actually, more than you might think, because that Ferrari down at Highlands is doing what it was built to do. That Ferrari was built to go fast on a track. It was built to be pushed to its limits. It was built to work really hard, to be kind of handled by someone who really knows what they're doing. I certainly would not be able to do anywhere near as good of a job as the very skilled and experienced driver who took me around the track was able to do. Now, this is something that I see happen in the marketing space as well. Businesses will acquire marketing tools that are like Ferraris or like Bentleys or Lamborghinis or whatever flash kind of car you like, or flash object of any description you like. And what they'll then do is use them in a manner where they could have just got away with having a Toyota Corolla instead. So the best example of this is email marketing software, perhaps more specifically marketing automation software. Now, I've worked on numerous projects recently where businesses have invested, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars and lots of money ongoing into really powerful platforms. So, like a really highly featured HubSpot subscription, for example. But all that business is doing is sending out a quarterly newsletter, a sort of Christmas update, hey, we're closed for the next 2 weeks, maybe the odd, slightly segmented email, but basically the kind of thing that could be done with a cheap MailChimp plan. And what's that's like is like buying one of these amazing Ferraris that you can go in down at Highlands and then actually using it to, maybe drive to the shops once a week or just have it sat in the garage. Now, if that's what you want to do because you like spending a whole load more money than you need to on something that's technically impressive, but you don't want to use it for what it was built for, that is your choice ultimately. But I think what's happening here is a lot of businesses are buying Ferraris when a Toyota Corolla would be totally sufficient, and they're doing it inadvertently. They're basically buying what the showroom or what the market wants them to buy rather than what they actually need. So whatever application you need or tool set or particular piece of software for your marketing, make sure that it actually lines up with what you need it to do and whether or not you're actually going to try and get the maximum potential out of it. So that Ferrari tier HubSpot subscription, for example, if you use all the features and you use it properly and you're working with an implementation partner that's going to help you get the maximum potential out of it, that's totally fine. That's what it was built to do. But if you're paying huge license fees for some of these software programs that exist and you're not using them at all, or you're not using them to the fullest of their capacity, you're basically leaving that performance on the table. You're driving your Ferrari to the shops once a week to pick up your milk and bread, and it just isn't really what those applications, those platforms were built for doing. And sometimes people just literally leave them in the garage and don't use them. And I've been guilty of this in the past. I've bought tools that I thought, hey, that looked like a good idea. Especially when it's so easy to buy things in subscription, a sort of SaaS model. Oh, it's $10 a month. I'll tack that on. It won't make much of a difference. And 6 months later, 12 months later, you've not even bothered taking that tool for a spin. Your Ferrari's been parked in the garage. Or whatever other car you want to call it. So basically make sure that you're getting the value and potential, I think is the key thing, out of these platforms you use. A Ferrari was built to do one thing really well, and that's be a sort of incredible piece of performance motoring engineering. And it's amazing to experience one doing what it was built to do. But yeah, if you're just going to buy one and potter around town in it, well, maybe if you want to show off your money and sort of show off what you've achieved, that's one thing. But I suspect a lot of people are doing this kind of thing inadvertently when it comes to their digital marketing tool set. So don't be that person who buys the Ferrari and leaves it parked in the garage and doesn't get the performance out of it. Instead, you're better off to buy your Toyota Corolla first, buy your more modest platform or your more modest subscription, and then try and get as much out of it as you can, and then say, right, I've reached the limit of what I can do with this particular program, this particular application. Now I've got to level up and get something that's better. That's a more economically sound way of doing things, in my opinion. Now, of course, this all comes down to how willing you are and how capable you are in your business and your resourcing and everything to extract that performance. But time and time again, I see businesses spending hundreds, thousands, possibly even tens of thousands of dollars a year on sort of software potential or platform potential that winds up being totally wasted, and it's not contributing anything to the business. So now's a good time to sort of take stock of what it is you've got in your digital garage and say, am I using this platform or these tools in the right way to get the right performance out of them, or do I need to possibly look to trade that in on something more sensible for my needs? So if you've got any questions about this, please do feel free to message me, email me on info@samfrost.co.nz, leave a question below if you've got any comments or queries. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.